Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and today I want to talk to you about trust. Many of you have been through personal and professional experiences that have caused you to not know for sure if you can trust other people. And many of you have said that you're in a place in your life where you are struggling to know whether to date again or how to trust again in partnerships, in the dating or love area of your lives. And some of you are even feeling isolated and alone and wanting to make friends and find ways to trust other friends in friendship again. And so I thought I would share one of my favorite things about trust that I've found in my research over the years. And that is from author and researcher and professor Brene Brown. And she talks about the 7 elements of trust. And she uses the acronym BRAVING. Okay, the word braving. So you might want to write these down, BRAVING. So the word braving is, each letter represents an element of trust that she shares. So I'm going to go over them just briefly, but if you want to study more about this, look for Brene Brown's work, Braving in the Wilderness. This comes from her book, Braving in the Wilderness. And so I want you to think about each of these in terms of when you're creating trust in a relationship, or wondering if you can trust someone, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a family member, someone you're thinking about dating, a spouse, whatever. And in all of your relationships where you're wondering about how to build trust or whether you can trust, and then also look at your own trustworthiness. This is very important. One of the best ways to build trust is to show up very trustworthy yourself. So ask yourself, do I have these 7 elements in my own behavior? How trustworthy am I? And take a look at that and just see if there's room for you to grow or ways to look at this that you haven't looked at it before. Okay? So the first one is the letter B. B, and it stands for boundaries. Okay, trustworthy people have clear boundaries. So you know what's okay with them and what's not okay with them. And they stick to what they say they're going to do. So, or where they're going to keep that boundary. And so boundaries are healthy. So boundaries are limits we put on maybe our time or our spending or our, kind of anything in our lives. It's we operate within this. Like one of mine is, well, we don't need to talk about mine. Anyway, boundaries. So having boundaries in your life is a way to build trust, because people know where you stand and limits that you put in your life, and they see you following through with that shows trustworthiness. And so if you see that in other people, they have this element of trust. R, the second letter R, is for reliability. Can you rely on these people? Are you reliable? When you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, do you show up? Do you communicate if you're not going to be able to make it, if something's gotten in the way? Do you follow through with what you say you're going to do? Do the people you're wondering about follow through with the things they say they're going to do? Can you really count on them to do what they say? So do their actions follow what their words are? The letter A stands for accountability. Accountability. So can you again, count on them? Accountability is a form of support. I'm not sure how to explain this one, but when someone holds you accountable, they hold you to what you say you're going to do, or they you can believe that. It's kind of like reliability, isn't it, really? If somebody holds me accountable, then maybe I've said to them, make sure that I complete this by Friday. And so if they're doing that, then they're going to check in with me by Friday and say, have you done this? Have you done this? So, and anyway, accountability is this element in relationships where you do hold each other to what you say you want to do. You commit to certain things and you follow through with those. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a little Didn't explain that very well. She's much more eloquent. Trust me. Okay, the next one is the letter V. V, and it stands for vault. And what she means by this is a couple different things. If we really if trust is a part of the relationship, then we will go into the vault together. And what that means is that you will be willing to share and be vulnerable and share some personal things with a person, right? And you will feel safety in that, and they will feel safety in that with you. So it's, and you hold it sacred, right? You hold that information sacred. And then the other thing that she brings up, which I thought was fascinating, was you won't talk about other people's private things with other people. So if one friend has confided in you about their, struggles in their marriage, let's say, then when you're with the other friend in the group and privately, you aren't going to share this other person's private story. Okay, so that means you've kept it in the vault between you and this other friend and haven't spread that news over here to the other friend. And, we might call that gossip. I think she does refer that to gossip, but you could even, well-meaning, be like, hey, I want you to know that this is going on with her over here. You care about her, I care about her. But actually, Brene Brown is suggesting that it's not our story to tell. That when we have people's stories in our head that they've shared in their vault to entrust us with, that it's not our stories to share, to pass them on, even to close friends who genuinely care. So that's an interesting perspective and something to chew on for sure. I stands for integrity. Integrity. So if you're somebody with integrity, you live your life honestly, and authentically. And you want to look for people who really, they're walking the talk of their lives. They're honest. They work from some ethical standard in their lives, and really stand for what they believe in, that kind of thing, with integrity. N is non-judgment. Non-judgment. You want to look for those relationships where you feel really safe to just show up as you are and you don't feel judged. And also you want to be someone who doesn't judge. So non-judgment. And then G is generosity. And what this means is, we often talk about generosity in terms of giving charitably and things like that, which is wonderful and great. But what she's talking about here, or my understanding of what she's talking about here, is that as an example, if you hear something about someone that you know, and it's not a glowing report, for example, that you will keep in mind the most generous possibility around that you are hearing. Okay, so if somebody hears a story about Cindy, about me, I would hope that if they're using generosity where I'm concerned, they're thinking about who is she really, and what is the most generous way to view the information I'm actually getting from the outside. Okay? So, in other words, another way of putting this is maybe giving people the benefit of the doubt, or remembering who people really are. If you're really trustworthy and you really trust another person, you want to remember who they really are. Actually, just recently, I experienced this. I won't go into all the details, but I upset my sister. I hurt her feelings badly. And I totally didn't mean to. I was totally being silly about something, and she took it very offensively. And I said to her, actually, my beloved said to me when I was telling what happened, he said, "Doesn't she know who you really are?" And I thought, well, yeah, I think so. And so I said to her, "Remember, I love you and I'm always on your side. I love you and I'm always on your side." And I was just being silly and didn't mean a thing by what I said. And, I made a joke out of something, and that was not appropriate for her. So anyway, so there's an example of when I would have appreciated her being able to look past her pain and see that I would never intentionally harm her emotionally, ever. ever, 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 ever. And so we want to look at each other with generosity in our relationships, and that is a trusting thing to do, that you can count on the people who you really know and trust, that really know and trust you, to see you for who you really are and remember who you really are, no matter what things look like on the outside. So anyway, Braving, Braving, The 7 Elements of Trust by Brene Brown. And so that's what I have for you today. Let me know how it's going. And if you're looking to change your life this year, by all means, I'm looking for people to fill my confidence coaching programs. I have a 90-day program and a year-long program, and they are fantastic. And to apply, all you got to do is get on the phone with me, and we'll talk it through. And I don't invite everybody that gets on the phone with me, and not everybody that gets on the phone with me wants to join either. But that's what the conversation might lead to, and if not, we'll get to the truth of how you're doing, what's going on, and see what next best steps might be helpful to you in your life. So let me know if you want a breakthrough coaching call to get you going, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.